We have a really crucial pair of Game 2s tonight, but we're going to start our show with breaking news. Sandy Brondello out as head coach of the New York Liberty. In a statement released by the team, it says in part, quote, Sandy finishes her tenure in New York as the winningest coach in franchise history, and she took us to never-seen-before heights as the first head coach to lead the Liberty to a championship. They ended by saying, we wish Sandy the very best.
This one was unexpected among fans. Sandy Brondello, the coach who led the Liberty to their first ever championship, was abruptly fired by the WNBA. We wish her the best is the official statement.
The official line.
The worst part, though, is that some are speculating that it was
But the
related
real
to her
kicker?
candid endorsement of
People are
Caitlin
whispering
Clark.
it had something to
Yes,
do with her open
she
praise
might
of
have lost
Caitlin
her
Clark.
job if she had praised Clark.
Sandy Brondello is out on the market. We got a shark out on the market. This is wild news. Sandy Brondello has been fired by the New York Liberty in shocking fashion. This is on ESPN. Breaking: New York Liberty head coach Sandy Brondello's contract will not be renewed for the 2026 season. The team announced the organization will begin the search for its next coach immediately. So we got Noel Quinn gone. Sandy Brondello gone. I think the Indiana Fever need to take a look at this. I think, look, it's not too late to fix the mistake.
Do you believe Sandy
praising
Brondello
Caitlin
was
Clark
fired for
really
praising
got Sandy
Caitlin
Brondello
Clark?
fired?
Or was this really
Or was
a
this
case
just
of
about
New York,
New York
panicking?
panicking?
Okay, let's
All right,
dissect this
let's
as
break
this
this
isn't
down
your
because
typical
this
dismissal.
isn't just some
The
normal
most
firing.
successful coach in
This is
Liberty's
the winningest
history
coach
is this
in
one.
Liberty history.
Disappeared less
Gone
than a
less
year
than a
after
year
winning the
delivering the
championship
title
that New York supporters had
waited
been
forever
eagerly
to see.
awaiting. And the manner
And the
in
way
which
it
it
went down?
transpired.
Quick
Short
statement,
announcement.
no warning,
No prior
no farewell
notice.
tour.
No
That
goodbye
alone
tour.
tells you there's more
That
to
in
this
and of
story.
itself indicates that
In the WNBA history, all time, to win a title with multiple franchises and her 40 playoff wins. They are the second most all time behind Cheryl Reeves.
So
let's go back in
rewind.
time.
Sandy
Not just any
Brondello
coach
wasn't just
traveling
some
through
coach
New York
passing
was
through
Sandy
New York.
Brondello.
She
She
was
the one who
took all
actually
those
transformed
high-priced
all of those
stars.
expensive stars,
Brianna Stewart,
Jonquel
Jonquel
Jones,
Sabrina
and Ionescu,
and actually
into a
turned them
competitive
into a
team that won
functioning
championships.
championship-winning squad.
Prior to her, New York
Before
had a
her,
gaudy,
New York
aimless
was a flashy roster
They
with
were
no
legitimate
direction.
champs with her.
With her,
I assume that
they
will buy you
became
some
legit
time.
champions.
False.
That should
As if
buy
it
you
were
time,
unimportant,
right?
the Liberty
Wrong.
announced the news.
The
We
Liberty
appreciate
dropped the
Sandy's
news like it was
contributions
nothing.
and hope her next chapter
We
is filled
thank
with
Sandy
success.
for her contributions
That's
and wish her
code
the best
indicating
in her
we're
next
severing
chapter.
our relationship and don't
That's
want to
code
discuss
for
the reason.
we're cutting
Here's
ties
the
and we
detail,
don't want to talk
though,
about why.
that nobody is ignoring.
But here's the detail
This
nobody's
occurred
ignoring.
immediately after Sandy
This came
publicly
right
commended
after Sandy
Caitlin
openly
Clark.
praised
Yeah,
Caitlin.
you never want to see a player get injured, and a player like Caitlin coming back has had a few injuries this year. She's a great player. Would have been good for our craft to see her, but hopefully we'll get to see her after the post All-Star. Get to play them again. As for the All-Star, I'm excited to get to know her a little bit. I think that's the part of the All-Star. It's going to coach players that we haven't coached before and get them to know them a little bit and enjoy the whole celebration.
Nowadays,
normally,
it shouldn't be
praising
illegal to
Caitlin
praise
Clark shouldn't be
Caitlin
a
Clark
crime.
because she is in her second
She's in her
season as a
second pro
professional
year.
and has
She's
altered
changed
TV ratings, ticket sales,
and
jersey numbers. However,
But in today's
complimenting
WNBA
Caitlin has become
politics,
contentious in today's
complimenting Caitlin has
WNBA
become
politics.
controversial.
The attention she
Some players
receives is
don't like the
disliked by
attention
some
she gets.
athletes.
Some
Some
coaches
coaches
act like
feel as though
acknowledging
praising
her
her
takes away
detracts
from
from their own
stars.
accomplishments. Furthermore,
Brondello?
Brondello did not
She didn't play the
participate in the game.
She
She
gave
openly
Clark her
presented her
flowers
flowers
publicly.
to Clark.
That rubbed
That
people
offended
the
a
wrong
lot
way,
of people,
especially
particularly
in New York,
where
the Liberty's
where
whole
Stewart,
brand revolves
Jones,
around their superstar
and Sabrina
core.
are the cornerstones
Stewart,
of the Liberty's
Jones,
brand.
and Sabrina.
Instead of Indiana,
They want the storyline
they want
centered
that to be
there,
the main
not in
focus of the
Indiana.
plot. However,
Brondello said the quiet
spoke
part out
aloud
loud.
the silent passage.
Caitlin Clark changed
Caitlin
the
Clark
league.
switched leagues.
And right after that,
then,
boom,
without warning,
she's out.
she leaves.
Fans put
Supporters
two and two
put
together
and.
real fast.
New York Liberty just fired their head coach. People are confused as to why, because they won the championship last year. They made the playoffs this year. In sports, there's always a scapegoat when things aren't going the way that they wanted it to go. Clearly, in New York, the standard has been raised. As Coach Tibbs learned with the New York Knicks, making the playoffs does not guarantee that you are safe anymore. They have raised the standard. They're sending a message to the fans, to the team, saying, we don't want to just go to the playoffs. We need to go to the finals and we need to win. So if it's not the players on the court that are changing, it's got to be the coaching staff. So unfortunately, that did mean Coach Sandy.
To be
Let's be clear.
this was portrayed as
Officially,
performance-based
the Liberty
by the
framed
Liberty.
this as
They
performance-based.
anticipated winning or losing.
They expected
and the
championship
front
or
administration
bust.
determined
And
that
when
a
the team
change was
stumbled
required
this
after the
postseason,
squad
the
faltered
front office
throughout this
decided a change
postseason.
was needed.
However, why
But if
highlight
that's
in the
really
news
the
release
case,
that she was their most
why
successful
emphasize
coach
in the
if that
press
is indeed
release
the
that
case?
she was their
Why draw
winningest
attention
coach?
to her playoff performance?
Why highlight her
Why give her
playoff
leadership
record?
praise?
Why praise
If you're
her leadership?
terminating someone based
You
just
don't
on
gas
wins and
someone up
losses,
like that if you're
you don't
firing
gas
them
them up
only
like
for
that.
wins and
It's
losses.
something you do when you're attempting to
You do it when
deflect
you're trying to
criticism
soften
over
a blow
anything
that's
else.
about something else.
Her remarks regarding
And that
Caitlin were
something
that
else
additional
was her
thing.
comments about Caitlin.
According to some insiders,
Multiple
Liberty
insiders have
ownership
said
was not
Brondello's
pleased
praise
with
didn't sit
Brondello's
well with
compliments.
Liberty ownership.
Having your own head in
In
a league where some
stars
celebrities have publicly rolled their eyes at Clark.
Having
It was
your own head
considered
coach
disloyal.
praising her impact
It's absurd,
was seen as disloyal.
yet this league is currently
It's
experiencing
ridiculous,
petty
but
politics of
that's
that
the kind
nature.
of petty politics
Examine
running
the
through this
background.
league right now.
Clark was
Look at the
described by
context.
Brondello earlier
Earlier
this year as a
year,
generational
Brondello
talent
said
who
flat out
uplifted
that Clark
everyone
was
in her
a
vicinity.
generational
In
player
essence,
who
that means
elevated
Clark is the
everyone
norm.
around her.
Who didn't
That's
like
basically
that?
saying
You
Clark
know,
is the standard.
the Liberty
And
stars
you know who
believe
didn't like
they are
that?
the norm.
The Liberty
The
stars who
quiet
think
was
they
deafening,
are the standard.
yet Stewart didn't exactly
Stewart
clap
didn't
back.
exactly clap back.
Furthermore,
but the
New
silence
York's
was
front
loud.
management has no
And New
intention of
York's
making
front
its
office
franchise
isn't about to
stars
let
feel
their
inferior.
franchise stars
The
feel
writing
second
was on the
fiddle.
wall then.
So yeah,
even if
the
you are the
writing was
best
on the
coach
wall.
and win a championship,
You can
if
win
you
a
give
title,
the wrong
be
player the wrong
winningest
kind
coach,
of
but if
praise
you
at the
praise
wrong
the
moment,
wrong player
suddenly,
at the wrong time,
you're gone.
suddenly
Basketball
you're out.
isn't the main topic anymore.
It's not about
It
basketball
has to do
anymore.
with
It's
politics.
about politics.
Fans
And
are
that's what's
incensed
got
about
fans
this since
furious.
Brondello wasn't merely
Because
winning.
Brondello wasn't
She
just
was steady.
winning. She was
She
stable.
gave credibility to
She
a
brought
previously
credibility to a
chaotic
team
squad.
that used to be
She
chaos.
dealt with great
She handled
expectations,
egos,
pressure
media
from the media,
pressure, and
and
high
egos.
expectations.
A coach like that would
Most
be highly
franchises
desired
would
by
kill
most
for a
teams.
coach like that.
However, because she
But
didn't
the
follow
Liberty
the
tossed her aside
storyline,
like
the
yesterday's
Liberty
news
threw her
because
aside like
she didn't toe
yesterday's
the
news.
narrative.
The WNBA
The
asserts that it wishes to
claims it
expand
wants
the
to grow
sport.
the game.
Well, there's some news.
Well, newsflash.
It is Caitlin Clark
Caitlin
who is
Clark
growing.
is the growth.
The figures
The
are
numbers
honest.
don't lie.
When Clark's
ratings,
name is
the
included,
attendance, the
the
headlines,
headlines,
they all
attendance,
spike when Clark's
and
name is
ratings
attached.
all increase. To act
Pretending
otherwise
otherwise
is to
is
be delusional. Brondello simply
just
accepted the
acknowledged
facts.
reality.
However,
But instead
rather
of
of
embracing
accepting it,
the league and its
and
franchises
its
act
franchises
like complimenting
behave as
Clark
though
is
it would be
betrayal.
treacherous to compliment
That
Clark.
insecurity just cost
New York
their
recently lost
best
their
coach.
best coach because of
Now,
that
let's
insecurity.
talk legacy here.
Let's now discuss
Brondello
legacy.
didn't just win
in
in
addition
New
to
York,
winning in New
she
York,
also won in Phoenix.
Brondello also
She's
triumphed
one of
in
only
Phoenix.
two coaches in league
She
history
is one
to
of
win
just two
titles with
coaches in
multiple
league
franchises.
history to lead multiple teams
Her
to
40
championships.
playoff wins?
Her 40 playoff
Second most
victories
all
rank
time.
second in history.
You don't just
You
stumble
don't
into
just
that.
happen to meet that.
That's elite
It's a
company.
firm of elites.
And yet she gets
Despite
shown the
this,
door over petty
she
politics.
is dismissed due to trivial politics.
Fans have every right to be
It's
stunned.
quite acceptable for fans to
This
be
isn't
in
just
awe.
about one coach
There is more
losing
to
her
this
job.
than one coach losing
This is
her
about
job.
the WNBA
This has to do with a message
sending a
from
message.
the WNBA.
Praise
If you give
Clark
Clark
too
too
much,
much credit,
and you might be
you could be the next. Maintain
Keep
the focus on
spotlight
the authorized
approved
stars, or suffer the
face
repercussions.
consequences.
For a league
It's
that
a
says it
terrible
cares
look
about
for a league
equity
that
and the
claims to care
expansion of
about
women's
fairness
sports,
and
it's a
growing
dismal
women's
appearance.
sports.
It is already
Fans
being
are already
criticized
calling
by
it out as
fans as
insecurity.
insecure. To
And
be
honestly,
honest, they are not
they're not
incorrect.
wrong.
The wildest
And
portion
here's the
comes
wildest
next.
part.
The Las Vegas
Becky
Aces
Hammond,
coach,
coach
Becky
of the
Hammond,
Las Vegas
essentially
Aces,
expressed her
basically
distaste
said
for the
she
decision.
hated the move.
She described
She called
Brondello as a
Brondello
quality coach and a
quality
quality
person
guy.
and a quality
In other
coach.
words, the Liberty made a huge
Translation.
mistake. When
The
even
Liberty
coaches
messed up
from the
big time.
opposing team declare, you
When
made the
even
wrong
rival
call,
coaches are
you know
saying
you
you
made a
made the
mistake.
wrong call.
Breanna
You know
Stewart
you
and other
screwed it.
Liberty players,
Meanwhile, Liberty players
expressed
like
their
Breanna
support
Stewart
for Brondello just
voiced
prior to
support
her
for Brondello
termination.
right before
It gets
she got
even
fired.
messier because of it.
That makes it
If
even
your
messier.
players at the MVP level
If your
say,
MVP level
ownership
players
fires
are saying,
her even though we have her back,
and ownership
what
fires
does
her
that
anyway,
indicate?
what does that tell you?
It indicates that
It tells
basketball
you this
results
wasn't
were
about
not the
basketball
focus of
results.
this.
It was
has
about
to do with
image.
appearance.
The fans aren't
The
stupid.
supporters are not foolish.
Social
As
media
soon as
blew
people
up
started
instantly
making
with people
connections,
connecting the dots.
social media took
The
off.
timing lined lined up
The
too
timing
perfectly.
couldn't be more ideal.
Brondello
Caitlin
praises
is praised
Caitlin,
by Brondello.
Liberty lose in the
Liberty
playoffs,
abruptly
and suddenly
leaves
she's
after
gone.
losing in the playoffs.
If this was
Why
purely
wait
about
if this
wins
was
and
only
losses,
about wins and losses?
Why wait?
When the
Why
squad
not fire
failed
her
last year,
year when the
why
team
not
came
fire
up short?
her? Why just
Why
now?
only now,
Just
right
following
after
her
she made
remarks
pro
endorsing
Clark
Clark.
comments?
That's right.
Exactly.
The parts are
The
compatible.
pieces fit.
And it is not just New
And this
York that
matters
is
for more
affected
than
by
just
this.
New York.
The entire
The whole
league is
is
observing.
watching.
The
Coaches are
coaches
watching.
are observing.
Players
The
are
players are
watching.
observing. Additionally,
And the message
the
being
message
sent
is
is
harmful.
dangerous.
You
If
risk
step
losing your
outside
job
the
if you
approved
deviate
script,
from the approved
you might
plan.
lose your job.
That doesn't
That
promote
doesn't foster
development.
growth.
That makes
fosters
people
fear.
afraid. And the
And
last
in a
thing
league
you want in
trying
a
to
league
compete for
vying for attention is dread.
Fear is the
Let's
last
move
thing
things
you
along
want.
now. Brondello has
let's
not
spin this
finished.
forward.
She is too respected and
Brondello
accomplished.
isn't done.
There is a
She's too
vacancy in
accomplished,
Seattle.
too respected.
Coaches are still needed for the
Seattle
league's
has an
incoming
opening.
expansion teams.
The expansion
If
teams
she
coming
lands
into
on
the
her
league
feet
still
swiftly,
need coaches.
don't be shocked.
Don't be
However,
surprised if she
they
lands
just
on her
caused
feet
a storm
quickly.
in New York.
But
The
New
next
York?
person they hire
They
will
just
be in a
created
tight
a
spot.
storm.
Win or
Whoever
lose.
they hire next
Don't
is
give the
stepping into
incorrect
a
player
pressure cooker.
praise. Don't
Championship
interfere with
or
ownership.
bust.
Don't make
praise
a
the wrong
mistake
player.
either.
Don't
That
upset
isn't
ownership,
freedom coaching.
and don't slip
It's
up.
a trap.
That's not
Additionally,
coaching freedom.
regarding,
That's a trap.
She didn't
And as
request
for
any
Clark,
of this.
she didn't
Clark,
ask for any of this.
In her second year
She's
as a
just playing
professional,
basketball,
she
doing
is
what
simply
she
playing
does,
basketball,
and breaking records
doing
in her
what she
second
does,
year as a pro.
and setting records.
But somehow,
However,
her name is
her
being
name is
dragged into
inadvertently being
controversies
linked
she
to
didn't
issues that
create.
she did not start.
That's the
The
real
true shame here is that,
instead of celebrating
rather
the
of
fact
honoring
that Clark
Clark's
has boosted the
contributions to
entire
the league as a whole,
including
such as helping
Liberty
to sell
ticket
tickets
sales
to
when
Liberty
Indiana
during
visited,
Indiana's visit,
the
the
WNBA
WNBA
is
is using
turning
her
her
as a
into a
point of
dividing line.
contention. And Brondello was
Brondello
only the
just
most
became the
recent
latest
casualty.
casualty.
This was formerly
The
referred
Liberty
to as a
officially
mutual
called this a
partying by the
mutual
Liberty.
parting.
Please.
Please.
When a split is one-sided
Mutual
but
is the
doesn't
word
want to
you
come
use when
across
a
as
breakup
harsh,
is
you
one-sided,
use the phrase
but
mutual.
you don't want it to sound brutal.
Sandy Brondello didn't
Sandy
invest
Brondello
decades in
didn't
enhancing her
spend
career,
decades building her
obtaining
resume,
accolades in several
winning titles in
cities,
multiple cities,
rising to
becoming
become one of the most
winningest
successful coaches in history,
just to
only
suddenly
to wake up one morning and declare,
"You
you
know
know what?
I'm done.
I'm finished." The franchise
the
pulled the trigger
franchise
in this
pulling the trigger.
instance. The timing
And
is
again,
odd once
the
more.
timing is suspicious.
The season had just
The
ended
Liberty
for the
had
Liberty.
just finished their
Feelings
season,
were still
emotions
unfiltered.
were still raw.
Additionally,
And instead of a
the
calm
coach who
off-season
essentially gave them
evaluation,
everything they
the
asked
front
for was
office
sacked by the
fired the
front
coach who
administration
literally
rather
gave
than
them
having a
everything they
peaceful
were
summer
asking for.
review. Why now?
Why now?
Why so quickly?
Why this fast?
Fans understand why.
Fans know
it has
why.
to do with
It's
control.
about control.
The final
And
nail in the
praising
coffin
Caitlin
was
Clark,
complimenting
the one
Caitlin
player
Clark,
who already makes
the
too
one
many
player
league
who
veterans
already
insecure,
instills
was the
insecurity
nail
in
in the
too many
coffin.
league veterans.
Now,
Now,
if you think
let's
this is
examine the
just
pattern if you
speculation,
believe this to
let's
be
look at the
merely
pattern.
conjecture. The name
Clark's
Clark
name has caused drama all
created
year.
drama throughout the year.
Opposing
She
players
has
have
been body checked,
her,
made
mocked
fun
her,
of, and complained about by opposing
attention she
players.
gets.
Regarding her
Opposing
notoriety,
coaches have made
opposing coaches have
passive-aggressive
used
comments about her
passive-aggressive
fame.
language. She has
Even
even been
referees have been
accused of
accused of giving
receiving
her
a
a
harsher
tougher
whistle
whistle.
from referees.
And through
Despite
all that,
everything,
Brondello
dared
dared
to say something
positive.
encouraging.
She called Clark
was
transformative.
referred to as transforming
She
by
credited her for bringing
She
eyes
gave
to
her
the
credit
game.
for drawing
That's all
attention
it
to the
took.
game. It only
Here's the
required
irony.
that. This is
Brondello
where the
wasn't
irony
wrong.
lies. Brondello was
The
correct.
Indiana Fever went
from being
an
an
afterthought
afterthought
to the most
the Indiana
watched team
Fever
in the
became
league.
the league's most watched
TV
team.
ratings broke records.
Record-breaking TV
Road arenas
ratings were
sold out.
achieved.
Jersey
Road
sales
venues were
skyrocketed.
completely sold out.
That didn't happen
Sales
because
of
the
jerseys
Liberty, the
surged.
Aces,
The
or
Liberty,
anyone else.
the Aces,
It
or
happened
anybody
because
else
Caitlin
was not
Clark's name
responsible
carried
for that.
weight.